then the prodigal son, the forgotten child, finally off the mark for his new club in the English League One. I'm talking about Kelechi Nwakali. On Saturday, the 14th of December 2024, at EaglesTracker, we followed 93 different matches that potentially feature Nigerian players from 64 different leagues around the world. My name is AyoT. This is EaglesTracker, the home of Nigerian football, and you are watching the Lowdown, where I bring you all the information with regard to Nigerian players on this match day. Let's get into it. Starting the match day review from England, I'll start with the big leagues and then we'll go into the smaller leagues. We'll start in England. In the English Premier League, we had Iwobi with a good performance for Fulham in their 2-2 draw against Liverpool. That was a very interesting game. Very, very back and forth game. But thankfully, even though Liverpool piled on the pressure with 10 men, Fulham were able to hang on to a draw and get a point in that game. Iwobi did quite well for his side. Ola Aina was in action for Nottingham Forest in their incredible 2-1 victory over Aston Villa, an incredible comeback victory. Ola Aina, not fantastic, but also not bad. A decent game for him. Continues to show that he's one of the best defenders in the English Premier League so far this season. In the English Championship, we had both Elijah Adebayo and Victor Moses in action for Luton Town as they fell to a 2-0 defeat against Blackburn Rovers. And then in the English League One, we had Fred Onyedima and Daniel Udo both on target in the same game for Wycombe Wanderers as they were 1-4 winners against Shrewsbury Town. And then the prodigal son, the forgotten child, finally off the mark for his new club in the English League One. I'm talking about Kelechi Nwakali. A fantastic goal he scored today to make it 1-1 on the night for Barnsley, who eventually ran out 2-1 victors over Exeter City. His first goal in his first start in the league, and I'm hoping that more to come like this. He joined the club, he said he had a point to prove, and he had fitness issues to start, and people started to doubt him. People started to say that even in League One, he cannot cut it. But then he had been playing in some games off the bench. He had been impressing. The fans started asking the coach to start him. The fans were demanding that the coach start him. And the coach finally gave him his first start. And he ended up being the man of the match while also getting a fantastic goal in the game. I'm happy for him and I hope that he can keep it up. I love backing the underdog. And in this case, I think Kelechi Nwakali is an underdog considering the situations that he has had in the past few seasons. And I hope that he can shine and even move higher than Barnsley in the near future. But yes, a goal for Nwakali in Barnsley's 2-1 victory over Exeter City. Okay, if I move over to Spain, in the La Liga, we had Kelechi Iheanacho played the opening 45 minutes of Sevilla's 1-0 victory over Celta Vigo. Unfortunately, he was subbed off at halftime because he wasn't too impressive while he was on. In the Segunda Division in Spain, we had Kenneth Obina Mama with 1 goal and 1 assist for CD Castellón in their 4-1 victory over FC Cartagena. And then if we switch over to the women's side, in the Liga F, Nigerian players in action in the Liga F, we had Omori Bajide and Gift Monday in action for UD Tenerife as they fell to a 2-0 defeat against Real Sociedad. And we also had Edna Imade scoring yet again for the 5th game in a row, her 9th league goal of the season in Granada's 1-0 victory over Madrid CFF. This girl is somebody that we have to watch. Sooner or later, she's going to have to get that Super Falcons call up the way she's balling. She's currently battling for the Pichichi in the Spanish Liga F. Good one for her once again. We move over to Italy. In Italy, Ademola Lookman was a second half sub. He came off the bench at halftime for Atalanta in their 1-0 victory over Cagliari. That victory means that Atalanta have now won 10 games in a row in the league and they are serious contenders for the title this season. And then in the Serie B, Ebenezer Akinsomiro came off the bench in the second half for Sampdoria as they played out a goalless draw against Spezia. Moving over to Germany. In the Bundesliga, we had Nathan Teller recording an assist for Bayer Leverkusen in their 0-2 victory over Frank Onyeka's FC Augsburg. Onyeka also in action in that game, played a large part of the game for Augsburg, and a good win for Bayer Leverkusen in that one. And then in the second Bundesliga, we had Afiz Aremu coming off the bench for Kaiserslautern as they fell to a 5-1 defeat against SV Darmstadt. Moving over to France. Over there in France, Chiamaka Nnadozie was in goal, keeping a clean sheet for Paris FC in their 4-0 victory over Dijon. And for the men, Gabriel Shaw was on the score sheet as AJ Auxerre played out a 2-2 draw against Hamzat Ojedinro's RC Lens. with Ojedinro coming off the bench late in that game. Now, going to the lower leagues a little bit for this one. In Albania, in the Superliga, we had Christian Mba on target in Partizani Tirana's 2-2 Superliga draw against Elbasani. In Azerbaijan, Jesse Sekedika was in action for Sabah in their 0-1 victory over Aras. Over in Bangladesh, Agbaji and Emmanuel were in action for Mohamed Dhaka in their 1-0 victory over Abahani Dhaka. In Belgium, Chukwubuikem Ukwemesi started the game for OH Leuven in their 1-0 victory over Sporting Charleroi. In Croatia, over there in Croatia, Salim Fagulawa was on target for NK Istra in their 3-3 draw against Šibenik. If we switch over to the Czech Republic, we had Abubakar Galil recording an assist for Slovan Liberec in their 1-1 draw against FK Pardubic, with Mohamed Yahaya also in action in that game. And then we had David Moses in action for MFK Kavina in their 3-3 draw against Bohemians 1905. And then Uchenna Arirerizim coming off the bench for Banik Ostrava in their 3-1 victory over Slovako. In Greece, we had Chidera Michael Oko off the bench and on target for Asteras Tripolis in their 2-1 defeat against Volos NFC. Toby Alagbe also came off the bench for Asteras Tripolis in that game. Over in Hungary, we had Jack Ibalibo in action for Zalazgezeg. I hope I got that right. But yes, they were 2-1 victors over the Brecheni. And then Bright Edomwonyi scored 1 goal and got 1 assist for DVTK in their 3-4 victory over Gyori ETO. Over in Israel, Ezekiel Henti and Mohamed Usman both featured in Maccabi Benai Rene's 2-0 defeat against Maccabi Netanya, and James Adeniyi was in action for Hapoel Hadera as they fell to a 3-0 defeat against Hapoel Haifa. Over in New Zealand, Josh Oluwayemi was in goal between the sticks for Wellington Phoenix as they fell to a 1-2 defeat against MacArthur, but he was able to make 1 penalty save in that game, so a decent individual performance for him. If we go to Portugal, in Portugal, we had Bruno Oyemaechi scoring a goal for Boa Vista, playing an advanced role and scoring for Boa Vista in their 3-2 defeat against Sporting CP. A tough defeat, but a good outcome for Bruno with a goal in that game. Moving over to Romania, Ata Kadiri was in action off the bench for Utah Arad in their 1-1 draw against Otelu Galassi. And Christian Irobiso was also in action in University's 4-1 victory over Petrolu. Over in Saudi Arabia, Ashley Plumter kept a clean sheet, decent performance for Al Ittihad as they ran out 0-3 victors over Al Taraji. In Scotland, Moses Ebiye came off the bench for Motherwell in their 4-3 victory over Dundee United. In Serbia, Francis Eze was star of the show, absolute star, with 2 goals and 2 assists for Železnica in their 6-0 victory over Jedinstvo. Over in Slovakia, we had Emeka Ochegu, Jude Sunday, Adekunle Issa, we had Zubairu, we had Suleiman, all in action in AS Trenchin's 0-0 draw against Zemplin. We had Filipa Zango in action as Spartak Trnava ran out 1-0 victors over FC Kochlich. We have also Ridwan Sanusi featuring for Podbrezova in their 2-0 victory over Rosenberg. And then Fortune Basi also featured for Dark 1904 as they fell to a 2-1 defeat against Slovan Bratislava. Over there in South Africa, Stanley Umabali was in goal. Not his best performance, not a good display from him today, as Chippa United fell to a 0-1 defeat against Cape Town City. In Switzerland, John Nkama was in action for Bellinzona in their 0-2 victory over Will. Over in Turkey, Babajide David Akintola recorded an assist while Ibrahim Olawoyin just featured as Kaiko Rizespor played out a 1-1 draw against Konyaspor. David Okereke was in action for Gaziantep. Unfortunately, they fell to a 3-0 defeat against Alanyaspor. Emeka Eze and Olarinwaju clashed when Salin Fraspor ran out 2-1 victors over Pendixpor in the one league. We also had Michael Ologo and Azubuike Okechukwu going head-to-head as Istanbulspor faced Erzurumspor in the one league, with Istanbulspor running out 3-2 victors in that game. And then to wrap up in Turkey, Paul Mukairu was on target for Boluspor as they played out a 2-2 draw against Fatih Karagümrük. In Ukraine, Francis Momo was in action for LNZ Cherkasy in their 1-1 draw against Alexandria. And then finally, to wrap up, we go to the UAE and we had Damilare Salahuddin in action as Al Uruba fell to a 0-2 defeat against Ajman. And then Peter Otele came off the bench in Al Wada's 2-0 defeat against Sharjah. So there you have it. Lots of players in action, lots of goals, lots of assists, lots of good performances, and a few bad ones here and there. Let me know who impressed you the most. Let me know who disappointed you. And don't forget to like this video, share to your friends. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so that you do not miss an episode and you always catch all the latest news and latest info on everything Nigerian football. Thank you very much. This is EaglesTracker. My name is AyoT, and you have just watched The Lowdown. Bye-bye.